Hello students, I hope everybody is doing fine. Today we are going to talk about the last topic of this chapter, that is excretion. Okay, so under life processes we'll discuss excretion in plants and animals. So let's get started. So what exactly excretion is? Excretion is kind of a biological process where you remove metabolic waste. So whatever chemical reactions happened in your body, right, that helps that creates actually a lot of waste as well. For example, in your house as well, you might have seen a lot of things you buy which is of kind of use only, but then from that comes a lot of waste which you have to throw in the dustbin or the bin, right? So here also, even though your body is making a lot of useful things, it can create a little bit of waste, okay, metabolic waste. So that has to be removed. Okay, so why is it necessary? Because if you won't remove the toxic substances, it will stay in your system. So what kind of toxic substances are there, like ammonia and urea? If you do not remove it, it will stay in your system and will cause a lot of diseases and problems and cell damage and different other cases and scenarios. Okay, then it also helps in maintaining the water and salt balance. So in our body, there is a limited amount of water that we need, like a lot of water, but still the amount should be appropriate. For anything, you cannot overdose it. Okay, so to balance the water and to balance the salt which you are taking in any sort of way, that has to be done through this excretion process. So extra waste will be removed, and also keeps the internal environment stable. Okay, all the pH level or any kind of conditions for enzymes, that is maintained by excretion process. If it doesn't occur, then there will be a lot of problem. Now, what are the main organs of excretory system? So there is a pair of kidney, right, and it looks like bean shape, that rajma you might have heard in Hindi, right? So like this. Then what happens next is, from this arises, so each kidney contains around 1 million functional units called as nephrons. Okay, so here it has a lot of nephrons here like this, and that helps in the filtration. Okay, now from this arises two muscular tubes like this. These tubes are called as ureters. Okay, so they help in transportation of the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder using a wave-like contraction, that is peristalsis. So if you have read about digestion, in that esophagus used to do peristalsis to move the food from mouth to the stomach, right? So similarly, peristalsis is something like movement like this, and then wave-like movement. Then this movement will be passed on, and then again like this, right? So it will be like like this, right? So ureter also does that movement, and from this everything will be reached down to a hollow structure, a balloon like structure called as urinary bladder. So this is kidney, okay, this is ureter, and this is you can say urinary bladder. Okay, so it stores the urine temporarily. Okay, and after a point when it is filled up, then you will feel the pressure and you will feel the need to go to a toilet urgently or a washroom urgently. Okay, so it can expand to hold up to around 500 ml of urine comfortably. Okay, and lastly is urethra. So this is the final tube, this here, no, urethra. So from here, the urine is being carried from the bladder to outside the body. It has sphincter muscles that controls the release of the urine. So that this can contract. Okay, so the urine will not pass, and if it is relaxed, then the urine will pass out. So this is the whole excretory system, and the system processes about 180 liters of blood daily. So it filters out the blood. From the blood also it takes the waste, right? All sort of toxins. Okay, so that is how we can filter our blood. Now if we talk about how urine is formed, so first of all, I told you already that there are tiny structures in the kidney. Nephron, this is the functional structure. It is around 1 million each nephron, right? And what it does is basically, one second. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so there are few steps. So first is filtration. Once the blood enters the glomerulus, okay, so this we will discuss in detail. Just you have to remember that first is filtration. So blood will enter the glomerulus, and from here what happens, this glomerulus will filter out the blood, okay, and the blood will again go back, the filtered blood will go back, okay, and where the water, salt, glucose, waste products are filtered into the Bowman's capsule. This Bowman's capsule is like this, okay, and then what happens, there is reabsorption. So as it the filtrates move through the kidney tubules, useful substances like glucose, amino acid, water and salts are reabsorbed, okay. So through this process a lot of substances are being absorbed, okay. So through this tube, if it is going, this is loop of Henle and everything, that we will discuss later. So what happens is basically it will reabsorb whatever is needed, okay. So more and more absorption happens here, and after that there is secretion. So additional waste products which are there, like Axis ions are there, okay, that are again added, okay, secreted from the blood into the tubule. And lastly, the excretion, the final urine contains urea, okay, it contains a lot of excess water and salts, okay, unnecessary or extra salts through ureter to the bladder, then exists the urethra, okay. So one is filtration, you are filtering the blood, the nephrons are helping in filtering the blood. Then there is reabsorption in the whole system, and after that there is secretion of more and more toxic waste inside that waste which is being formed, and then it is excreted out, okay. So this is the whole system. Then there are other methods in human, like lungs, which we have discussed in respiratory system as well. So lungs actually helps in removing the carbon dioxide and water vapor during exhalation. So lungs will basically, alveoli level, what happens, O2 will be gained in by the blood, okay, and CO2 goes out. CO2 goes out of the blood to alveoli, and through our bronchioles and all and trachea it comes out and we exhale it, okay. So the lungs process around 500 liters of air daily, okay. Then skin is there. So skin also helps us to eliminate a lot of things like water, salt. So sweat glands actually release salt plus water, right? So in summers you can feel your skin producing a lot of sweat because a lot of water is being released from your skin, okay. Then also it regulates the body temperature, okay. Then liver. So liver also produces bile pigments from the broken red blood cells, and this liver processes toxins and converts ammonia to less harmful thing. So ammonia is more toxic and it cannot stay in our body for a long time, so that gets converted into urea quickly, okay. So this liver again in digestive system, we'll see in depth that how that works. Okay, now excretion in plants. So in plants, it's very, very simple. So waste storage, first of all, waste is stored in what parts of plant? It is stored in leaves, it is stored in bark and stem. And then shed these parts periodically. So you might have seen sometimes, bark has been, removed, or leaves during autumn is, shed out and then new leaves are formed. So old leaves containing all the waste of throughout the year or something will shed off, okay. Then transpiration. So extra water always comes out through leaves via transpiration, okay. So these pores, these tiny pores called as stomata, they help out in maintaining the whole balance, okay. Now gaseous exchange. So oxygen is released during the photosynthesis while carbon dioxide is released during the respiration. So there is a balance. Even plants are respiring, so they need oxygen. So respiration is happening all the time, but the rate of photosynthesis is more in the morning. So plants will take more and more carbon dioxide in the morning, but at night they do not take it. So more oxygen intake will happen in plants, okay? And they will also release carbon dioxide at night. So sometimes you might have heard a lot of people saying that, under a big tree, there is a ghost. If you sleep at night, they'll choke you. That is not the case. Actually, when you sleep under a big tree, at night, what happens? It is releasing carbon dioxide because it is also taking, it is also breathing. It is also respiring, and you are also, respiring. So sometimes there may be a case that you end up not having enough air because your surroundings is filled with carbon dioxide, and you are also exhaling carbon dioxide, plant is also exhaling carbon dioxide. So you might feel like a little bit choked up sometimes, under a big tree, or some kind of scenario is there. So that is a very big myth, but it is, I hope, busted here. Okay, then there are special secretion. Some plants produce a lot of substances like resins, gums, latex, which we use for our, a lot of products. So these are also nothing but waste of plants. Okay, so this is it. Then, so if you can, you can take a screenshot and differentiate between these two, that on the basis of what kind of organ plants and animals have. The main products here is like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and water and salt. Here it is oxygen, carbon dioxide, resins, gums, tannins, all these things. Then process, active, here passive. Speed, you can see in animals, again it is fast, in plants it is slow. Energy required, here more energy is needed, in plants less energy. And waste recycling, limited recycling is there. Plants can do it up to a lot of extent. Okay, so now what is the functional unit of kidney? You can answer it. The teeny tiny, you can say the functional unit which starts with N. So try answering that. Okay, and question 2 is name 2 gaseous waste released by plants. So plants do not release only one gas, 2 gases. Some, in different process, different gases act like waste. So you have to tell that. And lastly, differentiate between excretion and egestion. So this is something you might have to think over. If you're not getting it, you can ask me. Okay. And lastly, why don't plants need kidneys like animals do? So you have to think and let me know. So we talked about, humans and their, complex system of excretion. We talked about plants and what are the methods of excretion here. And we also talked about what exactly excretion is. Okay. So thank you so much for joining the session. And I hope you learned something new today. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box, or you can reach out to me on my profile. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.